You got to start with the value because nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So you got to start with the value. You got to be relatable, and you want it to be a message that they can resonate with that speaks to them. Something that has enough polarity that it repels the people it's not for, so that the ones it is for really feel like, hey, this is for me.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interview. Hi and welcome to the My Future Business Show. My name's Rick Nuske and welcome to today's episode. I have a great guest here today. He is from Get More Leads Club. And I've got to tell you, when you look at a domain name like Get More Leads Club, it can't be much clearer than that. His name is Anthony Franck. How are you, Anthony?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Rick. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today. Now, for those who are listening, Anthony has a rags to riches story that I think a lot of entrepreneurs have to go through and have to understand to get any momentum to go from zero to a five-figure business in less than 30 days on Facebook without buying any ads. But before we jump into that content, I'd love you to tell our audience a little bit about yourself, Anthony.
Yeah, absolutely. I started doing online marketing back in 2010, 2011. Before that, I was a carpenter in the union, and when the economy crashed, I lost my job and my home and everything else. So I started a business doing business cards and design and screen printing and embroidery, and very quickly we realized the margins as a broker on screen printing and embroidery were not good, and selling business cards and design was going to the wayside because Vistaprint was squeezing everybody out and giving it away for free. So rather than die a slow death, I just decided to get into the online and digital space. So I went back to college and I started learning everything I could about marketing and advertising and selling and digital media and website design and web creation and a little bit of animation and graphic art.
The whole shebang.
Yeah. And then from there, I quickly realized I pretty much took all the classes I could take that had to do anything with graphics and multimedia, and all that's left was like general ed classes that I would probably never use in my life. So I just decided to find some really great mentors, and I started learning from some really great mentors. I started learning SEO and how to get websites ranking on Google and how to get them ranking on YouTube for your videos so that they show up in the first page of results. And then from there, I just kept growing and growing. I learned social media marketing and how to manage pages for companies and then advertising on social media like Facebook ads. And then from there, I started learning email copy and marketing and writing sales page copy and things of that nature and building landing pages, and then started building funnels. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. And then all of last year I spent the time building my network on my friend's network and leveraging a system I was creating which required no ads. And I actually hosted my own event in January. So we used that strategy to get people signed up for the event. I learned a lot about the Facebook algorithm and just kind of kept going. And I run my own digital agency offering done-for-you services to people. And so now I just kind of focus on some client work, and I'm rebuilding all my branding and design to be like an influencer speaker.
Do you have some like support networks around you to help you achieve all of these things?
Absolutely. I spent the last several years struggling to build a team, and this year it's really working well. So I have about 5 people on my team. One of them has their own business, so they have a whole leg of people underneath them. Yep. And so that makes it a lot easier. And then I actually just got off a call. We did a mastermind call that I was leading for the Success Corps, which is my buddy Sean's group. And so I lean a lot to Sean and some of my other friends in my network as like support figures to bounce ideas off of, get direction, and because it's easy to be the one that's giving everybody advice and telling them what to do and strategy, but then when you're doing it for yourself, you need somebody else that's not inside the jar to look at and tell you where to go.
I often hear about masterminds. You don't want to be the smartest guy in the room.
That's a great point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Otherwise, you're in the wrong one.
you're in you're in the wrong group. But look, thank you for sharing a little bit about that side of your business. Now, I'd love to know more about the idea of purpose-driven marketing. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, yeah. So what I recently came to the realization of for my clients and for myself was if you just take one powerful and purposeful action every single day to move your business in the right direction, for your marketing, then it's very effective. Now you can do more than one, but start with just getting one done. And I find that to work really well. I was recently sitting down with somebody that wanted to get more speaking gigs and more coaching clients. And we went through like an hour-long strategy session and figured out some things that could work for him. And we pretty much nailed it down to, hey, start a podcast. And also, here's a trick sheet my friend shared with us that you can use to go get more speaking gigs. And in a matter of a week, he had already done 3 episodes of his podcast, and it got him a paid coaching client. And it's been about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and he's gotten himself 3 speaking gigs. And he's just simply taking one action a day. He's blocking out 3 hours a day to work on it, and that's what he's working on, either making a podcast episode and releasing it, or going out there and trying to get more speaking gigs. So that's when I really started saying, that's probably much easier than giving people loads and loads of to-do lists and things to do. It's just tell them, hey, here's the overview of what's going on. This is where we're trying to get to the end result. And for now, just take one action a day to move us there. That's really purpose-driven marketing, one powerful and purposeful action step a day.
Just literally getting that early momentum is oftentimes the hardest thing to do in a business, isn't it?
It is, and one of the keys of that is sometimes you have the momentum, but when you lose it, it makes it twice as hard to get it back again, right?
Yeah. So are you there to also assist on that side for your clients and coach them and guide them, keep that momentum going?
Yeah, a lot of my clients hire me for done-for-you stuff, so it's like they want me to do it for them. But there's a ton of coaching that needs to happen in that process.
Yeah.
Whether they expect it or not, there's going to be a lot of phone calls and conversations and emails back and forth. And one thing I've tried to do is train my clients to use Voxer. So rather than writing me long emails with lots of different items that they're concerned about or they need answers to, just get on Voxer and send me a quick message, and then that kind of minimizes the amount of client touch you need to do.
Yeah.
But just in general, all my clients, they want to get on the phone. Part of the value in the retainer that they pay for is that they want to get on the phone and have a conversation about something and hash it out.
Having that one-on-one contact is very powerful, but what I'm thinking about is this idea of having pretty robust systems behind your business so that you don't just get, a brain download every time somebody has an idea and then they just shoot you an email. I suspect if you did it like that, you'd be overwhelmed.
Yeah, you could spend all day long writing back to those emails and reading them. And one of my mentors, he had a great piece of advice. He said, never write more than one thing in an email. That way, it's just a simple one-line response.
Yeah.
Rather than giving them 30 points and, like you said, a brain download of information.
Yeah, I'm looking here at this list that we've got together and how to raise your prices to get more high-end clients. What is that about, and why is that important?
Oh, man, one of the things that I learned the really hard way, especially at first, I was always charging what I was comfortable with charging. And what I realized now, looking back at that years ago, was that I was undercharging for the services I was trying to sell. And so when you undercharge, you underperform. You don't have the ability to have enough of the right people on the team because you're undercharging. And you're attracting the wrong kind of client, the one that can't necessarily afford the bigger retainer. Now, that's not always the case. You might be undercharging somebody that could have paid more or would have paid more. But at the end of the day, what I realize is you need to charge a significant enough price point in whatever you offer, whether it's coaching or done-for-you services, that you can actually execute for the client and get them the results that they want. And so when I stopped charging low-ticket or mid-ticket retainers and I started charging high-end pricing, that was a dynamic change in my business. It opened up the door to bring on lots of talented people to help do the work instead of me being the solopreneur trying to do it all on my own. And you get a better quality of client, and you're worth more to them because they're paying more. and obviously it all should reflect the results that you can provide, the value in the marketplace. But
Yeah.
yeah, charging more, it opens up a new dynamic in your business to really give you some business freedom and give you more of the right people around you and the ability to make those decisions and not regret them.
We have these mindsets, don't we? Initially, when we're just starting out, that maybe I'm not worth it, or who would buy my product at that price. I think this comes back a lot to testing. Have you done a lot of testing to work out the right price points? How does that work?
Yeah. I would say that you have to test. Obviously, there's no other way to do it than to put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some good people to model and milestones that you might want to achieve as a business. So, when I first started coaching people in 2013, it was $175 an hour, minimum of 2 hours per month in coaching.
Yep.
So 2 1-hour sessions. That means the value of that customer each month is only $350,
something like that,
maybe a little more. So it's that's not a lot of money. Right, and so how do you fix that problem? Well, if you were charging them $1,000 a month to meet with them twice a month for an hour, or even 4 times a month for 30 minutes, or even once a month for 2 hours, now all of a sudden you have a lot more flexibility and sustainability in your business.
Yeah.
Another piece of it is, don't sign up with people that only want to work for a month or 2 months. Sign up with people that want to commit to a year. And if they don't want to commit to a year, then maybe consider 6 months if you really want to work with them. But again, it adds much more sustainability. So when I started to learn the model of, hey, it's $1,000 a month for a year, and I immediately went that direction, I realized, wow, this is so much better. And then I moved it up again. And the way that I kept moving it up was, if you have clients on the roster and your time is in demand, you can charge more the next time somebody comes around and asks for it. And you can be more selective with the clients you're signing. So then as you get good quality clients, then you can start getting really great quality clients, or what we would call high-end clients, where they're paying $5 or $6 a month on a year commitment to work with you. And that really changed the dynamic of my business.
There seems to be that dynamic where, just from a purely economic standpoint, you might get less clients, but you're doing a lot less work and they're paying significantly more. So for whoever's listening to this call today, take that to note, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be struggling with the wrong types of clients. Now, I'm looking here, Anthony, at your ability to create free leads from Facebook without buying any ads. And I'd love you to share in some detail the system that you're using to do that.
Absolutely. This is a lot of fun, slightly labor intensive, but something you can outsource a lot to one of your team members once you train them how to do it. So what I do to do this without buying ad system is, you need to use your Facebook personal profile. Now, some people might be like, well, my personal profile is friends and family. Then either set up a different personal profile with a different name, or consider starting to flush out your friend network by unfriending the ones that you don't need, and start friending people that are either your target audience, your ideal customers, or influencers that have your ideal customers, and become friends with them on Facebook. That's step one. Either they send you a friend request or you're sending them one. And then once that's accepted, you want to begin to start chatting with them in the Facebook Messenger. And the reason I do that is it opens up the conversation. It gives us a chance to go to the next level, which might be a phone call, a Zoom call, an offline meeting somewhere. And this is something I learned from Maurice Domino and Casey Eberhardt. They both do this really well. And then from there, the more often you're chatting with them in Messenger, the more likely that those people will begin seeing your posts more often. So you're kind of gaming the algorithm to avoid having to buy ads and simply stay front of mind with people. Because really what you're doing is you're indicating to Facebook, hey, these two people are friends, and they talk. And they're talking in Messenger. And just like when Google had bought YouTube and you were getting rewarded for creating WordPress sites and videos, because now you're creating content for 2 of their products, they're going to reward you for that with rankings. The same applies with Facebook. if you're using Facebook, you're also using Facebook Messenger, and maybe you're also using Facebook Live, you're using 3 of their products. They're going to reward you for that.
Yeah.
So, and you're also indicating to Facebook and the algorithm, hey, these 2 people are friends. They both talk in Messenger. Show them a post that XYZ one of them made sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours so that we can see if they're going to get a comment on it or a like or a share from it. And the more you're indicating to Facebook, hey, these 2 people talk, then the more likely they're going to be to start showing your posts to those people, and it's keeping you front of mind for them.
There's a great system to start adopting. I also would love to talk a little bit about using video to do marketing. Can you tell us a little bit about YouTube and how you can help your clients rank using video?
Yeah. So when we first started, ranking the videos was more about getting to the first page and getting ranking. The YouTube ecosystem has changed a little bit in the sense that you really want to come with the perspective and the approach of have a great channel,
Yep.
have quality thumbnails for your videos now, make it so when they get to your channel it's very clear what you do, organize it in a way that things are in playlists. Those are all good common practices now on YouTube that we didn't necessarily care about when we first started ranking videos. Now the process of ranking videos is pretty much the same as it's always been. If you pick 5 to 7 keyword phrases that you want to get your videos found for, depending how complex they are in terms of difficulty for ranking, you want to use your best phrase in the title line. You want to use your second best phrase in the second line of the description. Right above that second line of the description, you want to put in a link over to your website where you're hosting that YouTube video. It could be a blog post or something of that nature. And generally, you want to put that link to be somewhere you want to send the traffic because they're going to click that link. And then you want to write and optimize that description under the YouTube video to have those 5 to 7 keyword phrases sprinkled throughout a good quality 3 to 4 paragraph article, same as you would write a WordPress article on your blog. Then in the tags, you want to use those 5 to 7 phrases in the tags of the video. And this will help YouTube understand what is this video about, what keywords is it about, where should it be ranking on the search. And then from there, you can always make more videos, and you can link back to those videos from the blog post, which also helps indicate that this is something that's getting what they call votes or backlinks over to the video, and that's going to help it as well. But I've gone through that process over and over and been able to rank videos on the first page of YouTube for the said keyword phrase that I want. And if it doesn't stick at the very top, if you pepper it with some more links, it'll definitely move it back up again. And then, of course, anything on the ecosystem that helps would be if they're liking it with the thumb up, if they're subscribing to your channel, if they're watching the videos for a long time, if other people are linking out to that video. All of that is another indicator to get them to rank it better.
When you look at the fundamentals of marketing, is it better to be just pushing your product or actually providing value?
Oh, you got to start with the value because nobody cares, right? Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So you got to start with the value. You got to be relatable, and you want it to be a message that they can resonate with, that speaks to them, something that has enough polarity that it repels the people it's not for, so that the ones it is for really feel like, hey, this is for me. And they're not going to do that on just an offer, right? Generally speaking, they're going to do it on content first, get to know you, and then get to like you, and then get to trust you, and then you can try to sell them something.
Do you find that you're still using a blend of written copy, or are you predominantly promoting the use of video nowadays?
I like to write a lot just because I personally like to write a lot, but video is the most powerful way to communicate to your audience, whether you're using Facebook Lives or using YouTube or using both. I had JP Sears on my show last year, and he's got a huge following on YouTube. And so what he started to figure out was, hey, if I just take my video from YouTube and I cut out a few segments and I throw them up on Facebook, more people can get to know, like, and trust me, and I can get them over to my YouTube channel to subscribe if they haven't already. And so the more places you can spread that video, the better. Ezra Firestone was recently getting interviewed by Grant Cardone at the 10X Growth Con 2, and he was saying when you make a piece of content, optimize it for all the platforms. In other words, set it up so you can distribute and release it on everywhere that you want to distribute and release it to that has your target audience so that they can consume it.
Yep.
So it could be, you know, a video that goes on iTunes. It could be the same type of video cut differently with different bumpers for YouTube. It could be the same guts of the video or excerpts of the video that go up on Facebook. But video is the number one easiest way to communicate with people, to build trust with them so they can see you, get to know you. And then from there, you know, podcasting audio is a very intimate thing like we're doing now.
Yep.
And then I would say written is probably number 3 because nobody wants to read anymore. Some people like to read, but most people that love to read would rather read books, not pages on the internet.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. You know, these insights are very powerful for, you know, up and coming entrepreneurs, beginner entrepreneurs, and as well as existing business owners. And I know that you have a lot of experience in SEO. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is, why it's important, and what people who can do with this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So SEO, the technical term is search engine optimization. In other words, you know, the ability to get found on Google.
Yep.
Now, there could be any number of phrases that people are searching for, but you first want to identify what are the keyword phrases that your ideal customers are searching, that if they found you, they would find your website or your video the solution to their problem or their pain. And then get in their head so you can understand how do they type it in and what are they typing in. Because a lot of times business owners will think, well, if I sell software about this, then it should be software about this. But in actuality, it might be something completely different, like their pain, how to do blah, 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 question mark. You know, Hootsuite probably doesn't care so much about like a thing like, you know, social media management tool. That's their probably number one converting term. But they also care about things like how do I pre-schedule a post on Instagram, because now they can do that, right? Same thing with Buffer. You know, so you really want to get in the head of the customer, and SEO is all about getting those first page rankings on Google so that you can get the traffic over to your site. One of the most powerful things you can do is continually pump out content that you can be ranking multiple times for the same keyword search on those first 10 results. And then with local, now it's kind of changed the game again, where now Google Local, you want to get in that Pack 4 spot. You want to get in one of those local 4 spots that people see if you're a local business before they get to the search index. But if you're going for broad terms, or you're going for local terms that don't really show a Pack 4 very often, you can get multiple first page rankings for local stuff just by continually producing content and optimizing the content for the keywords. And again, you want to follow that principle of, you know, 5 to 7 keyword phrases for every piece of content you're creating that are clearly spelled out for Google to understand. Because as much as they change the algorithm 2 and 3 times a day, at the end of the day, it's still the same algorithm that they built on, that they originally started with. And it only thinks but so much, and then the rest is all just big data-driven information. So one of the key advantages that exists now that didn't exist so much in like 2013 or 14 with SEO is if you're logged into your Gmail and you're connected with other people in the Gmail, and you're searching on Google and you never clear your browsing history and you're not clearing your cookies, Google knows so much about you that they can provide you more catered results. That didn't always exist before, right? So one of the elements in SEO that's changed a lot over the years is not necessarily the algorithm. Like, yes, it does change 2 and 3 times a day, but one of the key elements is everything's big data driven now, where it wasn't really that way before. So maybe I have 5 first page rankings for some people and only 1 or 2 or none for others, because they're never clearing their cookies. They're not clearing their cache, and their browser is showing them things that Google thinks they want to see.
I really appreciate that feedback, and what it's really telling me, and for everybody who's listening on the call, is to be aware there are so many moving parts to getting your business and marketing moving in the right direction. And I would definitely recommend that you reach out to Anthony, touch base with him via your website. Where can they find you, Anthony?
Yeah, if they go over to getmoreleadsclub.com/social, they can click that button at the top of the page and become my friend on Facebook, and we can chat in the messenger about their business.
Anthony, it's been an absolutely fantastic call. I'm sure we could have gone for several hours talking about these topics. They're close to my heart, obviously close to yours, and thanks again for being on the My Future Business show today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's been fun having you on the call with us today. Now click on that big red subscribe button and make sure you leave us a comment, share us with your friends, and join the growing list of leading entrepreneurs who have enjoyed their time on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews.